the January 6th commission might actually charge Mark Meadows with contempt. He is admittedly quite contemptible, but he has said that he's not going to work with him anymore after previously implying that he would. So they're looking into that. And in advance of that, they have to give a little bit of an explanation about why they need to talk to him, what sort of information he might have. So they put out this 51-page report, and it includes 6,600 pages of records taken from personal email accounts and about 2,000 text messages. These people really are just constantly communicating with each other. That is more than you should generate in your entire life. But let's give you an idea of some of what might be in those that we would want to know a little bit more about. So let's see. They have an email he's alleged to have sent on January 5th about the security of Trump supporters who would hit the streets the next day. The recipient of the email is not identified. But what we do know is that Mr. Meadows sent an email to an individual about the events of January 6th and said that the National Guard would be present to, quote, protect pro-Trump people, and that many more would be available on standby.
Wow.
So that doesn't necessarily mean they would be there to participate in an overthrow of the government, but it definitely is looking at that through a partisan lens. What's the devil's advocate for that? That he thought that those peaceful Trump protesters would be attacked by mobs of Antifa, and so they'd need the National Guard to save them from Francesca and her rabid followers? What is the argument there?
Look out, Frantifa coming. No, there is no argument. That's another way of saying they're gonna stand down and they won't be around. They're gonna pretty much let you run roughshod, and they did. That is chilling because it's not just, I mean, because we were all like, where was the National Guard? Why weren't they called out? I don't know, maybe they were deliberately told to stand down.
Yeah. Well, look, if the chief of staff the day before was in communication about what the plan was for the National Guard, it certainly seems even more unacceptable that they were so slow to actually deploy them. But that said, we have more information. Meadows, quote, received text messages and emails regarding apparent efforts to encourage Republican legislators in certain states to send alternate slates of electors to Congress, a plan which one member of Congress acknowledged was highly controversial, and to which Mr. Meadows responded, I love it. So that plan, if you don't remember the details of this, was we have the actual electors, which are chosen as a result of the way we do our elections, and they decided, no, that sucks. We're just gonna choose other chuckleheads that'll say Trump won. And the chief of staff to the president of the United States the day before the insurrection said, I love it. Additionally, he exchanged text messages with and provided guidance to an organizer of the rally. So that's fun. The organizer told him that things have gotten crazy and I desperately need some direction. Maybe he got some. The committee report says that Meadows got text messages from a, quote, media personality who told Meadows to tell Trump he had to issue a statement telling his people to leave the Capitol peacefully. So far as I know, that media personality has never come forward saying that they were desperately trying to get through to Trump through the chief of staff, that he has to put out a statement. So who is that? I don't know, maybe eventually we'll find out. And then finally, another text, according to the footnotes of the report, captured even the confusion with the direct quotes. It read that Meadows sent to by one of the president's family members, indicating that Mr. Meadows is, quote, pushing hard for a statement from President Trump to, quote, condemn this, I'll say ish. So the family member had been communicating with Mark Meadows, and Mark Meadows implied he was pushing Donald Trump, but Donald Trump didn't readily do it. So that also looks bad for him. Anyway, the end of this, I think, should be clearly they need to hold him in contempt. They need to force his cooperation because more than perhaps anyone else, he clearly knew a lot of what was going on. And it was Ivanka, right?
Bro, yeah, it was Ivanka and media personality, maybe Hannity. I don't know. I don't think it was Carlson, but I'm very curious as to who broke first. Geraldo. Who's not committing? It was Geraldo. That's why they ignored it. Just like he gets ignored on that station. But this is a guy who's trying to put out a book, who is releasing a book and wants everyone to buy it on, at the Hudson News on their way to visit their families for Christmas. We're not buying your stupid book, okay? Just release, I'll buy your book if it's all the text messages that you have sent in that period of time. I'll buy the book that has all your emails. This is some salacious stuff right here. And it also shows that, like, we've been floored by revelations, but not really, that rioters met with people like Representative Boebert or Representative Green, Matt Gaetz, etc. But like, it went all the way up. It's Mark Meadows, it's chief of staff, dude. This is a guy who's not only essentially coordinating with the National Guard to basically stand aside, but then saying, yeah, we're gonna do this alternative plan for alternate electors in some universe where we think this works. No, there's no universe. You didn't actually have a plan, and guess what happened? You sicked a mob on the Capitol. That's what happened.
Check out the Damage Report podcast each day, wherever you get your podcasts, whether Pocket Casts or Stitcher or iTunes. You can join me as I give you the news and stories you want, with a range of co-hosts and interview guests jumping in on the fun each day. Again, that's the Damage Report, wherever you get your podcasts. And if you get them at iTunes, don't forget to rate and review. Sometimes I'll read them live on the show.